We are one. We are one.
Okay, just tell me when to go. Okay, just tell me when to go.
We're going live now. We just started the live video streaming. Again, if you're texting or emailing your friends at home, it's castateofemergency.com. So we're streaming right now, and we're going to have our speakers coming up here in just a minute.
Live picture this afternoon from the south steps of the state capitol. There's a state of emergency in California, and within a few days, nearly every Californian in every corner of this great state will be impacted. Good evening. Welcome to the state capitol. We are right now bringing you the State of Emergency rally live here on stateofemergency.com. With it, our main program will be getting on the stage. We'll have a number of speakers today. One of them will be CTA President David Sanchez. David will be with us here on the pre-show coming up in just a couple of moments. Also, Tom Torlakson, California Superintendent of Public Instruction, will be here as well. The reason we're here tonight, drastic cuts that are hurting our public schools, our colleges, and our communities. Adding to that, into the legislature's failure to extend existing taxes and protect essential services like education. Clearly, there is an indication with lawmakers, at least some lawmakers inside the Capitol, that education is not a top priority. And here are some of the arguments to back up just that. California have cut $18 billion in the last 3 years from their budget, and now education is facing another $1 billion in cuts. That means 20,000 teachers are in danger of losing their jobs this year. That is on top of 30,000 educators who've been laid off in the past 3 years. Now, of course, this is the State of Emergency rally here at the Capitol. We've had a number of events going on throughout the week in other cities, in towns, and of course here inside the Capitol. Let's show you some video. This was the scene inside of the state Capitol on Wednesday as teachers, parents, and students stormed the Capitol Rotunda carrying signs and chanting. Wednesday was the day of the teacher, an opportunity to appreciate educators and allies, with CTA partnering with the PTA to thank educators, take field trips to fire stations, and set up campus honor tents to recognize faculty and staff. This event, part of a week of activities involving calls and visits to lawmakers, walking through neighborhoods to educate voters, and outreach events here at the Capitol. As we speak, rallies similar to this one here at the state Capitol are happening in San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Visalia, and San Diego. So up on the stage in just a couple of moments, we will have some of the speakers joining us here on the pre-show. CTA President David Sanchez. David, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
David, let me ask you, this is a very troubling time for educators here in California. You've been traveling up and down the state. Tell me a little bit about what you've heard from teachers, from parents, from students.
We have had a tremendous experience here this week. Lots of our educators were here to get the message across to our legislators that the state of emergency is real and that they need to act upon it now, not later. Let's start looking at the governor's proposal to extend the taxes, not in September, but now. We need that money for our schools now.
We've had a week worth of events. What were you hoping to accomplish this week?
We're trying to accomplish to talk to our Republican legislators how important it is for them to get on board this train here, where we're trying to fund our schools. And so we're looking for two Assembly Republicans and two Senate Republicans to join us in ensuring that public education moves forward. There's a good possibility that 20,000 teachers could lose their jobs if we don't fund schools right now.
I should say, David, we're lucky to have you here because you and 26 others were arrested inside the Capitol outside of Republican chambers yesterday. What was the message you were trying to deliver?
Our message was we were acting on behalf of the future of the state of California. We felt compelled to do what we had to do in order to get the word to the public that the state of emergency is real. Folks, join us in calling your legislators and demand that we provide the best possible public education for all our students.
Now, Assembly Republicans published their proposal for a balanced budget. It does not include Governor Brown's proposed tax extensions to to fund education. This is a statement you made following the release of that plan. It says, quote, "I'm not willing to sit idle while a handful of Republican lawmakers in the state Senate and Assembly refuse to face the realities happening in the classrooms and communities across California." Explain that. Tell me about the GOP plan and tell me why you don't support it.
The reason why we don't support the GOP plan is because it's another Band-Aid approach to the ever-growing problem of funding our public schools. What we need is long-term solutions to our funding of our public schools. It's another Band-Aid approach. It eliminates a very valuable program called Quality Education Investment Act, and we can't do that. That's a reform movement that's throughout the country. That's a good one to keep, and we certainly can't support that kind of a proposal. It's a Band-Aid approach. Doesn't work.
There are dozens of other labor organizations. I have to ask you, tell me about building coalitions and supporting the middle class.
Well, it's been a very good week for us in doing just that. We've been organizing collaboratively with our labor coalitions, with our education coalition, with our parental group. You know, it's been amazing activity for us, and we're all on board in trying to do what we can to get this thing passed and settled so that we can do what we do best, teach.
David Sanchez, thank you very much for being with us. We'll let you go back on stage.
Thank you very much.
So, folks, that is David Sanchez, CTA president. We're going to send you right up to the front there, right up to the stage. There are thousands of people here on the south steps of the Capitol. We'll let you enjoy the state of emergency rally right here online. Folks, have a great evening.
We're a little bit too loud, but are we too loud? Who do we want to make sure that we hear? We can never be too loud. So all I can say is that when you want to scream, when you want to shout, when you want to make noise, by gosh, do it. But at the same time, I have to make sure that I can bring you back to me, because I know if I were in my kindergarten classroom, I would have a chime or a rain stick or something. So if I put my fingers up like this, that means I need you to cut it off. Okay? Let's practice. All right, let's practice. Go, make the noise. That was all right, but we can do better. Okay? But before we try it again, I want to take this opportunity. If I can get everyone's attention, I want to take this opportunity to introduce someone. This man, he's a man that stands for what he believes in. This man was willing to go to jail for what he believed in. He has led the California Teachers Association for the past 4 years. And he has been a great leader, and it takes great pride for me to introduce CTA's president, David Sanchez. We are one. 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 Sí se puede. Sí se puede.
Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. CTA. 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 Big round of applause. Hello, Northern California, Sacramento. Let me tell you, it is very good to be outside and here in the sun with all of you on the Capitol lawn. It's great. What a night I have had with some of my new and now closest friends. We have bonded in ways that others won't ever understand. What a week this has been for our state of emergency campaign. On behalf, folks, of the 325,000 members of the California Teachers Association and the state's more than 6 million students, let me thank you for all of your tremendous and inspiring efforts this week. Thank you. This week was not only a teachable moment, but it is the start of a new movement for a better California. Our efforts rolled across the state like a thunderstorm of inspiration and hope. Every newspaper, radio station, and TV channel seemed to be blaring with the news of our protests, the teacher grade-ins at local malls, the rallies and town halls, the silent processions and noisy chanting, and the visuals of empty chairs outside our schools representing the pink slips that are emptying our classrooms of so many dedicated educators. All over the state, educators and other working men and women have come out and said to lawmakers, do your job. Protect California schools, colleges, and essential public services. Do your job. 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 I do want to take a moment to recognize and thank all of those who refused to step aside this week while our students are being robbed of their future. Thank you for doing that. Those of you who spent a night in the Sacramento County Jail this week, please wave your hands wherever you are in the crowd. Woo! Woo! While the men were in their holding cell, we spent the night pretty much talking about things and how we would change things when we got out. But I gotta tell you, it was a long night. And we came up with jailhouse names for each other. And I won't share those names with you. It's a bonding moment, one I shall never forget. Thank you for your courage and for your dedication to our students and to the cause of public education. I am humbled to have had the opportunity to be with you last night. Gracias. Thank you. In all my life, I have never been so proud and okay, a little smelly than I was this morning to be standing with all. It is so sad that teachers have to go this far to get the attention of some lawmakers. Very sad. But I and my fellow colleagues, we do not regret our decision. I don't regret one moment of what I did and what they did. And I know the dedicated teachers who joined me in this action don't either. We had teachers that taught preschool all the way up to higher ed. They were all representative of all of you out there last night. Thank you. Let's give them one more round of applause. I also want to recognize the Capitol Insiders, and you know who you are, Capitol Insiders. Raise your hand, Capitol Insiders. Those of you who spent the entire week here in Sacramento and making sure that lawmakers heard our concerns and our call to pass the tax extensions now. We did a lot of work explaining the budget cuts to lawmakers, recognizing Day of the Teacher, and defeating 3 anti-teacher bills that attacked our profession. Thank you, Capitol Insiders. Thank you. And finally, I want to thank our very hard-working CTA staff. Let's give them a round of applause. They helped us to put up not only an amazing week of action here in the Capitol, but at rallies and events across this entire state. Folks, we have the best CTA staff working for us. Thank you, CTA staff. California is the 8th largest economy in the world. But we continue to shortchange our students of the public education they need and that they deserve. That's not right. More than 30,000 educators and 10,000 support professionals have lost their jobs, and that's not right. More than 1 million students have had their school years shortened by 5 to 10 days, and that's not right. And college tuition has increased more than 200%, and that's not right. That's not what California ought to be doing for its students. Do you agree with me on that? And it is not the California that we want for our families. Do you agree with me on that? It's wrong to cut education and other basic services like health and public safety. It's wrong to price students out of the possibility of a college education. And it's wrong for big corporations to pay little or no taxes. That's wrong. But it's right. It's right for all of you to be here today to send those politicians a message. California wants to protect our students. We want to help the poor. We want quality health care for all. We want safe communities and neighborhoods, and we want to protect this state's future. This state's future, the students of the state of California. Now I want you to join with me in this. Whose schools are we fighting for? Our schools. Whose colleges are we fighting for? Our colleges. Whose cities are we fighting for? Our cities. Whose students are we fighting for? Our students. Whose future is it? Our future. Whose future is it? Our future. The future really is now for California. Look around you today. We are not in this fight alone. Parents stand with us. The entire Education Coalition and all of California labor are with us. Religious and community leaders stand with us. Together, we have the power. The struggle is ongoing, and it's going to take all of us to prevail. But we will prevail. We will prevail. I'm going to go off script just for a second, because I need you to understand something, that those of us who spent the night in the Sacramento County Jail were treated with the utmost respect. We were treated with the utmost respect. Over here to my left is the California Highway Patrol. Right over here. The California Highway Patrol is also facing some severe shortage and cuts to their program. And it's very sad, the news about what's happening in their profession. But folks, we were treated with the most respect that I've ever seen. Of course, you didn't know what to expect. But the fact of the matter is, they were only doing their job. The other group I want to thank, and they warned us that when you go to the county jail, you must behave. You must behave. And to get Larry Allen to behave was a really hard thing to do. But they too are terribly understaffed and have a huge job. And they recognized that those of us in blue shirts were not the common person going through their halls. And so we need to give them a round of applause for what they had to do as well. ¿Se puede? ¿Se puede? ¿Se puede? We are one. We are one. We are one. Gracias. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you.
Okay, it's my pleasure. We're going to start our speakers that are going to come up and address you. I get the pleasure to introduce Tom Torlakson, our Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Thank you, Toby. Thank you, Toby. And let's hear it again for David Sanchez, a great leader. A great leader for California, a great leader for our children, a great leader for the future, the bright future of this great state. So I want to check, are there classroom teachers here today? Are there school employees, classified, who are the team that helps? Thank you, thank you. Are there nurses here? Paraeducators? Computer repair folks? The ones who cook the food? Librarians? Counselors? Public safety officers? Social workers? We are united. We are representing our communities, our children, our future, through labor unions, through business. Are we one? Are we strong? Are we headed in the right direction? We're headed in the right direction. We got to get the legislature to join us in the right direction. I declared a state of financial emergency when I first took office in January because the schools had already suffered too much. 1/3, $18 billion, 1/3 of the funding of our K-12 schools has disappeared. Tuition in higher education has gone up 250%. That's the wrong direction. We want to get ourselves in the right direction. Are you ready to advocate? Are you ready to fight? To not have the most crowded classrooms in the nation. To not have the shortest school year in the modern industrialized world. Are you ready to fight to save art, music, drama programs? Yes! Are you ready to fight to save our counselors and our librarians who offer so much to help our children learn? And our career tech teachers. Are we here to fight to save career technical education and summer school and tutoring? Are we here to stop the termination, to fight against the termination of another 20,000 teachers on top of the 30,000? We're ready to fight to stop that. It is time for the legislature to act, to protect, to invest in the future. The tax package is an investment package. It's something Californians are already paying. As I go around the state of California, I hear parents, I hear business leaders, I hear you, I hear labor leaders, I hear from our parents. They want our schools to have the investment that we used to give them, the priority we used to give them. So I am here to say we will fight together, and I'm just checking again. Are we one? Yeah! Are we one? Yeah! Are we fighting for a brighter future? Yeah! Thank you, thank you. You're a dream team. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Torlix. And I just would like to acknowledge that Senate Pro Tem Senator Darrell Steinberg is here with us today. Thank you, Senator Steinberg. It's my honor to introduce our next speaker, the President of the California State PTA, representing 1 million members throughout the state, Joe Loss.
Thanks, Debbie. Good afternoon. I am honored to represent nearly 1 million members throughout the state of California. Our members are mothers, fathers, and other concerned adults who have watched with dismay year after year of budget cuts as they've devastated our schools and other crucial children's services. No one has to tell us, cuts hurt kids. And we're speaking up as never before to make sure that our leaders in the Capitol know it too. We will not be silent while classes grow larger. We will not be silent while the school year gets shorter and shorter. We will not be silent when the arts vanish from our schools and libraries close and support systems disappear. On Monday, the governor will present the May revise. What we need is more than a revised budget. We need revised thinking. We need our representatives in Sacramento to understand that we must invest in our children today to ensure a brighter future for all of us. Budgets reflect our values, and an all-cuts budget reveals a willingness to break fundamental promises we have made to the more than 9 million children in California. The cuts of recent years undermine many of those promises that we've made to our children. Promises is working to close the achievement gap, which widens when the school year gets shorter and shorter, and school services that allow them to learn at school disappear. In fact, the fundamental promise of a free public education for all children is at risk. As parents, we used to be asked to buy a few extras for the classroom. Now parents are being asked to raise millions of dollars to pay for basics, including counselors, librarians, and arts instruction. These are not frills. These are the vital building blocks of education that we have promised to every single student, not just those whose parents can write big checks or put together fancy fundraisers. PTA speaks for every child with one voice, and our voice is growing louder. Please join with us so that we can make sure that our legislative leaders hear our message. Our message: cuts hurt kids. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's my honor to introduce the next speaker, Yvonne Walker from SEIU 1000, President. Let's give her a hand.
So brothers and sisters, you know, Local 1000, we're based here in Sacramento and all over the state, and they heard there was a rally here at the Capitol. They heard some teachers thought they were going to come out and make some noise, and they thought, hell no, this is where we need to be on Friday night. Brothers and sisters, I don't think I have to tell you, we are in the middle of a battle. We are in the middle of a war. There is an attack on the middle class, an attack on working people. Not just here in California, but across the nation. New Hampshire, Oregon, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and it's spreading. But we're going to stop it right here, right now. Budget battles are playing out in state capitals all across the nation. And these battles are relevant to all Americans. They're relevant to all Californians, especially working Californians. I'm here to tell you the budget is not just about numbers. It is not just about a balance sheet, and it damn sure ain't about a Capitol building. A budget is about working people. It's about you, it's about me, it's about our kids, and it is about us standing together saying no more. They would have you to believe that the public sector, that working people, that unions are the problem. We know we are not the problem. Let me tell you what the problem is. It's about the shifting political and economic power from working people to a few wealthy people. This battle is about what kind of California we want to live in. And make no mistake about it, it's about a battle that we cannot lose. It's about ExxonMobil making profits of $19 billion in 2009. They made even more last year, not one dime in federal taxes, not one. $2 billion tax reform, but California schools were cut by $18 billion over the last 3 years. This battle is about the Bank of America making $4.4 billion in profits last year after it received a $1 trillion bailout from the Federal Reserve and a $1.9 billion tax refund from the IRS. And all the while, they're cutting vital programs